Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final part of the Christmas special, and the second of the last part. Today, I will be reviewing. Sorry, I forgot to grab the Blu-rays. Today I will be reviewing Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. Um, Now the first one, Home Alone, I did with some of my friends, Dylan, Vignesh, and Chad. You guys can go and check that out. It's currently on my channel as of now. I actually, for the review, I forgot to give a rating for the film. I'm probably gonna put it down in the description. Because I just realized it. Like I realized it before recording. So the rating I'm gonna give for Home Alone is I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It's a wonderful Christmas classic that I think most likely everyone watches around Christmas. But if you don't, get your hands on the copy. It's on 4K, so do check it out. Um, but enough of me talking about about this classic. Let's talk about this classic. Yes, I do think that Home Alone 2 is a classic. Um, my history with this film. Um, I watched it around the same time as the first one. Um, and which one do I like better? Find out at the end of this review. But yeah, like I said, um, I watched this movie right after the first one because these two films go hand in hand with each other. Um, and this was released on November 20th of 1992. Um, the budget was 20 million. Domestically made 173 million, and worldwide it made over 365 million. So this was again an overwhelming success. Um, and This was again directed by Chris Columbus, who also directed the first one. Um, and yeah, so let's go over the plot. So, after snarky 10-year-old Kevin McAllister, played by, again, Macaulay Culkin, loses track of his father at the airport, he mistakenly gets on a plane headed to New York City. While the rest of the McAllisters fly to Florida. While the rest of the McAllisters fly to Florida. Now alone in the Big Apple, Kevin cons his way into a room in the Plaza Hotel and begins his usual antics. But when Kevin discovers that the Sticky Bandits, played by again Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, are on the loose in New York and are going to rob money from Duncan's toy chest, Kevin struggles to stop them from robbing the elderly man's toy store just before Christmas. Um, Same basic outline as as the first film. Obviously, they needed to change stuff for this one to feel fresh. Um, and um, I I am no stranger to this sort of for this sort of plot device because if you guys remember the reviews that I did on the Jaws franchise, I did say that I enjoyed Jaws 2, even though I still preferred the first film. I rather like something that's similar but has some changes than something completely different than from the first film. And that's what I said about Jaws 2. So to have a movie very similar to that I've watched for years, um, I honestly don't mind it. I like the fact that, like I said, the plot is relatively the same. The same basic outline, but obviously there has to be changes, so that it's fresh and new, which is the same thing that happened with Jaws 2, which I do appreciate. Um, um, but uh, I still enjoy this movie. Um, Again, we'll get to my rating um after at the end of this review, but I think personally it's like I said in the Jaws 2 review, and like I said earlier, I think that I prefer something that's uh something um I mean I if a studio can provide something original and makes it work, then I am down for that. But I if it okay, if they're going to make a sequel to a franchise that I love, I'd rather have something familiar but different than something completely different. Uh, um, than something like completely different from the original. And like I said, if they can do something different and make it work, then I'm all down for that, and it works. But most of the time, like I said, I prefer something that's familiar, but with something's different than something completely different. Um, but let's go over the cast. So obviously we have, Puss the boy himself, Macaulay Culkin, returning to play the role of Kevin McAllister. Um, I've heard criticisms about his performance in this movie, with his performance being way too robotic. Um, Not like literally like he has like his voice is like made into like a robot voice because that's just stupid, but like he just seems very deadpan and very unemotional. Whereas in like the first film, he emotes very well. But then like when this movie came out, it kind of just seemed like he was just going along with the script. Um, and it kind of just seemed like he was just miming it out instead of actually trying to give off a good performance. Honestly, I can see that. I can see what the critics are talking about with this movie. It's it's a fine performance, just not up to the standard of the first one. Um, but um um I just think that it his performance in the film is very. I don't want to call it wooden because he does have moments where he can emote, which I do appreciate. But overall, I just think that like the critics said, his voice is very robotic and I don't know. It's very I don't know. It's very weird. But I mean that's what fame does when you become a big actor. Because before this he did, well, obviously he did the first Home Alone and he did Uncle Buck, but before this movie, but after the first film, he did The Good Son, which I think. No, actually, no. It was. I don't know. I don't remember. No, because I think. No. The Good Son came after this movie because no, Good Son was released in '93 and this was '92. So yeah, Good Son did come out after this. Um, we also have Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern returning as both Harry and Marv respectively, and they're both great as usual. Um, do I think their performances are better in this movie than in the first one? I say both of them are on equal par as from the first film. Um, do I think it's um, do I think it's a bad performance? No, not at all. If you guys have seen my original review of the first film, I think that um, that they do great with the material that is given to them. We have the fantastic Tim Curry as Mr. Hector, who is basically the one that um has the like out of everyone who's in the um who's at the Plaza Hotel. I think he has the most interactions with Kevin. Because I think. Oh yeah, because and honestly, Tim Curry is the best part of this fucking movie. He's so enjoyable. Like literally, any 1-star movie that he's in, he's the reason the movie got its 1 star because he's so great in any performance that he gives. If you guys actually go remember all the way back to my second review of all time, my first my second full length review for this series was on the original miniseries version of It, and I think he did a fantastic performance in that playing Pennywise. Um, and honestly, I'm not trying to go too far off of a tangent, but I think he did a better performance as Pennywise than um I'm forgetting his name. What was his name? Oh wow, I'm honestly forgetting his name. I feel terrible. Hold up, I have the original. I have the 2017 It. I'm gonna go look at that real quick. All right, so I got back and I just got the name Bill Skarsgård. That's what his name was. I think that Tim Curry did a better performance than Bill, cause I think that Bill played way too much on the scary aspect. I mean, yeah, Pennywise is kind of supposed to be scary, but he's also a clown. In order, I feel like in order for Pennywise to lure the children so that he can kill them, he needs to be like a clown. Like he needs to be funny in order to lure them away, and then he goes for the scary psychopathic thing, and then kills them. And that's what Tim Curry did perfectly. I mean, yes, Bill Skarsgård does have some jokes, but it seems more creepy than funny. And I know that some people might feel like that it it shouldn't be played like that. It should be more scary. I get that, but I think that in order for him to impersonate a clown or the Lord to trick the kids, the clown needs to be funny, not scary. Because then people are just gonna be like, "Nope, I'm gone." I say be funnier and then go for the scary, than just being overall shitting your pants scary. Just saying. But anyways, back to Home Alone 2. Um, I just think that Tim Curry did a very good performance. He also did star in The Hunt for Red October, which I did for I think my 30th review, something like that. I think I'm not exactly sure, or my 29th. I don't even know. Um, see what happens when you do. We have done over 60 of these, and it's very it gets you start losing track of what episode or what movies you did for which episode. We have Rob Schneider as Cedric. This is probably one of his performances that I don't find him annoying. Cause yeah, granted he did go on to star in some crap. Like, I mean, not saying these are bad, but Grown Ups 1 and 2, he was he was annoying in that. But I mean, after this, he went on to do Demolition Man, which I think he only has like 1 or 2 scenes in the movie, in Demolition Man, and he wasn't annoying. I think by Judge Dredd in '95 with also Sylvester Stallone, I think that's when he started getting his not purposely, but getting his annoying side into his acting roles. Because I think, like I said, in this film and in um, and in Demolition Man, he does great. By '95 in Judge Dredd especially, he started to pull off his annoying side of it, which still is somewhat relevant to this day. And I'm like, oh my god, this is the end for Rob Schneider. Um, we have Dana Ivy, sorry, as the desk clerk, who's basically like the third out of like the trio of like main characters from the Plaza Hotel, because you have the main one being Tim Curry, the secondary one being Rob Schneider, and then the third one would be the desk clerk, and she does fine. I think she only has like about 1 or 2 scenes in the movie. Or I don't know the three, because no, yeah, 3. So but the material that she's given, she's fine. And then we have Brenda Fricky as the pigeon lady. Now, don't I mean, you guys have if you guys have seen the movie, then you guys know where I'm gonna be talking about this, or what I'm gonna start talking about. But if you haven't seen the movie, don't be yelling at me saying that like, oh, I forgot her name, so I'm calling her Pigeon Lady. No, if you literally look at the end credits of this movie, she's literally named Pigeon Lady. She's never getting a name. At least the old guy from the first film got a name, like Old Man Mally. This one is just Pigeon Lady. Like, give her a name. Like, oh my god, it's not that hard to do. Or have it something like a pigeon or something. And yet you just decided like, oh screw it, Pigeon Lady. Um, but besides the name, she did okay. She has like there's obviously like the few scenes where she seems scary, and then she shows herself being like a nice person. And then there's kind of like that one final scene where Kevin does something nice for the scary person that turned out to be a nice person. Like in the first film, well, I don't think Kevin brought the family home for Marley, but it was like showing Marley like the true kind of like the true side of Christmas. Um, but in this movie, what does Kevin do? He gives the pigeon lady a bird ornament, a pigeon ornament, a fucking ornament. Like, how is that gonna help her with her homelessness? Um, don't I don't know. It's stupid. Um, we have obviously Catherine O'Hara and John Hurd were both returning as Kate and Peter respectively, and they play a larger role in this movie than in the first film, because especially um with Peter. I mean, Kate still has a pretty big role in this movie, but John Hurt is given a much bigger role than what he did in the first film. Not significantly, but he's given a lot more to do, especially with the fact that a key plot point of this movie is that Kevin, because Kevin has like a Walkman, um and when they're at the airport, because they actually remember to bring Kevin, so good on you guys. Um, but they apparently the batteries in the Walkman dies, so he starts asking his dad for batteries, and I think either Kevin takes the bag or Peter gives Kevin the bag to look for batteries, and obviously he gets on a flight to New York, and so that means he has the bag, which means he has basically crap tons of money, and he just starts like he doesn't start splurging it, but he starts using a lot of the money, and obviously it's his dad's bag, so his dad has a way bigger part, which also has the bag also has his wallet in it, which also um I mean, I guess it's an improvement over the first film somewhat that they actually tried to show the fact that they couldn't, because I think, I mean, granted, no one was pointing this out, but to me, I was like, why didn't they just show them a picture of the kid? Um, and you know, it's nice that they actually improved on that, where like it has like the one scene in the police station where like the one guy calls like the Chicago airport, like to ask where if Kevin's there, like if there's is there a kid named Kevin McAllister there. And then he's like, can I have a photo of him? And like he's like, oh, I got it in my wallet, and obviously he doesn't have it, and he's like, oh well, I don't have my wallet. And then it's like all is like, oh shoot, it's all starting to come back to him. And I'm like, okay, that's actually a kind of funny moment that they actually paid attention to that while still making it funny. And I'm like, that's smart. And then a strange cameo by Donald Trump. Because this was back again. This was back in 92, and he wouldn't become president until 2017. So, um, or actually 2017, 2018. No, I don't know. But He because I think he owns the Plaza Hotel in real life, so he has this kind of funny cameo. It's funny because it's like, oh wait, that's Donald Trump, but it's also funny that he doesn't even know his own hotel, because Kevin asked him where's the lobby, and he goes down the hall and to the left, and what does Kevin do? He goes down the hall and to the right, and yet still ends up in the lobby. Nice move there, Donald. Um, yeah, it's cool to see um, it's cool to see presidents be cameos in movies. Um, I don't much. No, I'm not gonna get into that whole subject. But it's funny so that it's like when it's like, oh, that's Donald Trump. But it's like, oh, why does he not know the own layout of his own hotel? Like, idiot. Um, um, and um. I guess to go on to favorite scenes before I get on to the fun facts, the music, which I also forgot to mention in the original review and in my rating. Um, and um, I think overall, I think everyone can agree that the traps are probably the best parts about the movie or any Home Alone movie, especially like the first two. I mean, because really anything after two, I see as just a massive goddamn blur. Because I'm like, was there even any sequels? Um, because the only one that I guess I'll go more into this at the near the end, like after my favorite scenes. Um, but there were sequels. And um, favorites. Yeah, obviously the traps are some of my favorites. I'm not gonna go in depth about them like I did in the first review because that went on to like many different conversations. Um, but overall, I think that I think the reason why I I had this one a little bit higher than the first one was because the traps were so much deadlier. When that not deadlier, but so much like way more brutal than the original. Because yeah, granted, you might in the first film coming out of that house, yeah, you might have some glass in your feet. Yeah, you might have some feathers on you, and you might have a black eye. This film, these traps can kill you, which I think adds to the more of the charm, because or what used to be more of the charm, let's say, um, because I mean I still think they're way more, they're a little bit more funnier than the first one, because honestly I think this one tries to play it way more like a Looney Tunes cartoon. Like, cause you see, especially like with the Roadrunner cartoons, cause you see like the Wild Coyote, trying to set these traps up for the Roadrunner, and then like these eccentric traps, and then them just failing on him. Except, well, obviously since this is a Home Alone movie, Kevin sets up all the traps, and the sticky bandits, sorry, they suffer the traps. But it's like these are way more brutal than the first one. I mean, granted, if you guys haven't seen it, go and watch it. Um, if you guys want to see what I'm talking about, but yeah. Um, but I think besides all the traps, like the final sequence with like all the traps and stuff like that. I think my overall favorite scene, or my overall, yeah, is my overall favorite scene is when they get when the rest of the McAllisters get to, I think, what was it? Where they're going to? Florida, I think. Yeah. Florida, and Kate realizes that they forgot Kevin, or yeah, they forgot Kevin again, and Peter's like, "What?" And then she starts laughing, and initially it's like, "What the hell?" And then and then all of a sudden, click, and you see her face just drop, and she just screams, "Kevin!" And then you see her like, and it's like, it's so funny. Oh, um, I don't want to pop up the clip for copyright, but you can try and go and find the clip on Google or on YouTube. It's so freaking hilarious, and that's probably my favorite scene throughout the whole movie. Um, Now to discuss what came after this movie in terms of the Home Alone sequels. Oh boy, this is going to be a long one. Um. Okay. All right. So we obviously have like the immortal classics of these two. Well, more the first one than the second one, but I still think the second one is a classic. But we still have these two great movies. Um, and right here, done and done. This is all you should watch. Studio 20th Century Fox didn't seem to get the point. Because after this, Home Alone 2, after both of these made crap tons of money, they thought, hey, let's go and pump out another sequel. So, in 1997, I don't have it, because why would I? But in 1997, we got Home Alone 3. Uh, this is like taking a big old shit all over the first two movies. It's like, yeah, you have such great content and such original ideas in these two, and then you just crap all over it, and it's so a shame. Like, it's so sad just to see what the franchise became after the second movie. Because, like I said, Home Alone 3, it's garbage. Home Alone 4, Home Alone 4, Taken by the House, I think it was released in 2006, direct to video. I think Harry returns, but he's played by a different actor, because obviously Joe Pesci, by this point, he's getting old. Macaulay Culkin didn't return as well, because by this point he was a teenager, and all the drug problems that he was going through as a teen kind of prevented him from working on a film as of that point. So they hired a younger kid that looks. I think I don't know whether this is supposed to be a sequel to Home Alone 2 or a prequel to the first one. I think it's trying to be a sequel to the second one, but. Or maybe it's an in-between movie. Honestly, I haven't seen it, but from what I've seen, it's plain garbage, and I don't ever want to see it. And the girl, because it seems like that it's Harry, played by a different actor, and then either his girlfriend or just a girl that he had that wants to rob the house. And that girl looks like Sonya from the Mortal Kombat movie. Just saying. And then Home Alone 5, The Holiday Heist, which for some reason doesn't even have a 5 at the end. It's just called Home Alone, The Holiday Heist. It's the worst of the worst. I do not recommend. Grantedly, anything after the second Home Alone movie, I do not recommend. But stay away absolutely from the fifth movie. I think the only redeeming thing about that is Malcolm McDowell, but really, he doesn't even save the movie. It's almost as bad as the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. It's that bad. Which, ironically, also stars Malcolm McDowell. But, Jesus Christ. Just seeing what this franchise became after the second movie is heart-wrenching. But at least I still have the first two movies. At least everyone still has the first two to watch. And hopefully to forget about those two pieces of shit. Or those three pieces of shit, sorry. I think if you really wanted to, you can watch Home Alone 3. But I think anything, really, if you watch Home Alone 3, anything after that, stay away from. Because the fourth one, like I said, isn't worth watching. The kid in that film, I think he's trying to be Kevin McAllister, looks younger than he did in the first movie. And then, like I said, the fifth one, stay away from as much as possible. Um, I guess to talk about the fun fact is that um, this section, really the fun fact section, is going to be talking about how much Macaulay Culkin got paid throughout his child acting career. Cause I don't know how much he got on Uncle. He got paid on Uncle Buck, which was really his first movie appearance. I know that starting from the first Home Alone, he got paid I think $100,000 for his work on that film, which granted isn't much. But to a kid, it's like holy crap! I just got a lot of I got $100,000, dude. This is amazing. And then he got paid. He was the first child actor to be paid either I think it was either $1 million or over $1 million for his role on My Child, which is surprising considering he isn't the main role. Um, and and then Home Alone 2, he got paid a significant more than in Problem Child. He got paid, which was the fun fact. Macaulay Culkin was paid $4.5 million, which was the biggest salary given to a kid actor at the time. Well, I don't know if that's true. I know that that Macaulay Culkin was the first child actor to get paid at least $1 million for a film, but I mean, yeah, that could be true, but granted, I don't know. But yeah, like I said, he got paid 4.5 million for his role in this movie, which is insane. And then by I think 90, and then he got paid 5 million for The Good Son, and then 8 million for both Getting Even with Dad and Richie Rich, both of them. And if you think about it, Macaulay Culkin, I don't know if this is true or not, but I believe Macaulay Culkin got paid more on Richie Rich than Chris Evans, Mark Forster, and like three of the main actors from the Avengers combined. Holy crap! What was this kid's agent? Um. Um. Anyway, to move on from that, I want to talk about the music. For both films, since never got to do it. I think I don't think I got to do it for the first film, but might as well mention it now. The scores for both of these movies are great. Just as the same that I said for like Superman the movie, he did great jobs on that. Um, and, like on Jaws and stuff like that. Um, I think I think after Home Alone 2, it started to become apparent that he was reusing um a lot of like song cues from previous movies, especially like not as much, but kind of like Danny Elfman. He by I think 1990, he really started reusing a lot of his music from previous films. Like you could tell that between like the first Batman's theme, right? Like, the first Batman movie from '89, and then you go and listen to Batman Returns immediately after. You could hear some of the similar cues they used in like Scrooge and stuff like that. Um, but do I recommend the Home Alone 1 and 2 soundtracks? Absolutely. They are both great pieces of music. I think Home Alone 1 has gotten a re-release on CD. Um, which is readily available, and I think Home Alone 2 has a CD release that's still available. So if you guys want to go and get those, I will try and leave descriptions down in this video for the soundtracks for both films. Um, and so yeah, so um, like I said at the beginning of this review, I'm gonna give Home Alone 1 a 7 out of 10. This movie, I personally think, I know I said in the first Home Alone review and in the Cringe Squadcast episode 15, the Christmas special, that I said that I personally prefer the second movie over the first one. But after watching it again, I personally think that the first one is actually better. I have officially changed my opinion because for years I thought that the sequel was way better than the first one. Now it's reverse. So now I love the first one way more, a little bit more than the second one. Not saying that this one is bad, not at all. I still think that this is a Christmas classic that everyone should watch on Christmas, obviously. But I just think that I personally prefer the first one a little bit better than the second one. Which I'm gonna give. Then that's why I'm gonna give Home Alone 2 a 6 out of 10. It's a perfectly fine sequel, but I just think that some things are a little bit repetitive. Um, I know that I said earlier that I like something that's familiar but different more than something that's completely different. But I think this film is a key example for using way too much stuff from the first film. Where I think that Jaws 2 is a good example for having something using the same plot outline but changing enough stuff to make it so that it's perfectly different. And then yeah, this is the last review that I have for 2020. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Brussels movie reviews. Click over here for my beautiful face for my channel, and make sure to hit that subscribe and bell icon for future videos. And click over here for not only the first Home Alone review, as well as I believe the Polar Express review. So anyway, guys, Merry Christmas, you filthy animals, and live long and prosper. Out.